Oh, hey, it's Sunday. It's 2 p.m. Central. I apparently go live at that time.
Yeah.
I was like chatting to Chris and like cleaning off a brush and just zoned right out. And I was like, oh, wait, he's in here for a reason. We go live. So, yeah, anyway, hello, everyone. AmyR here. Prairie Paper and Ink. Face. Card making space. Live. Unscripted. Unfiltered. Chaos. And the unpaid intern. Sitting in the corner.
Over here.
Not reminding me that, it's like we do this at 2 o'clock on Sundays. At least it wasn't like, an hour later or something, because then I'd feel like super bad. But hello to everybody. Oh my goodness. Making Christmas jam? I wish. It is cold here. I invested in a second space heater, mostly for the unpaid intern.
Yep.
But when you're not in here, I plan on tilting that. So I've got extra heaters because it's cold in here. I've got my like fuzzy hoodie on, and yeah, we're gonna keep as warm as possible because yes, we got snow and frost and blah. Is what it is. It's Saskatchewan. Winter is here for the most part, and it's gonna be here for like the next 6 months. So that's always fun. And yes, happy crafty chaos. Hello to everybody. Hello, hello, hello. And yes, as far as housekeeping, everything I plan on using, linked in the description box below. Today is going to be fairly clean and simple. Still, I think going to do 2 types of splatter, just, because I can. I do have the Simon Says Stamp sale category listed. Worth checking out. There's a few pretty impressive deals in there. I posted about it earlier today, and I was just like, there's a couple good deals in there. So that's linked. And and then mailing of cards. I've addressed this every live. My plan is actually to go tomorrow because I have not mailed any cards since the last live stream in August. So they're all piled up. Like I showed it last time. They're all ready to go. I don't want to show anyone's address because I have like the addresses and stuff. I just got to get them in envelopes. But I've got everybody's cards that has won for the last 2-ish months, however long it's been, or October, 2.5 months, plus today's. I was on the Canada Post website earlier today. I went and looked, and it said they are like accepting things. There will be delays because of the like rotating strikes and all that fun stuff. So, yeah, I have to leave my house tomorrow. I'm being forced. We have an appointment. And I was like, I will swing by the post office and mail out these cards. And then we will just hope that the delay isn't too crazy. But I have no idea. Like things are definitely delayed. I'm waiting on, like, I haven't received Simon Says Stamps November, or is that considered December? No, the November card kit that came out, their monthly card kit, that releases on the 14th of each month. I still don't have it. I'm hoping it'll get here soon. It's always later to me anyway, but it is what it is. It is what it is, So just I can't even imagine living in that type of weather. We get used to it. Right now I'm just like I said, I'm cold. The older I get, I'm cold. So yeah, I got like hoodies and fuzzy blankets and heated blankets and all the things. And heaters, extra space heaters. We have a garage heater because I do get asked that. I don't allow this garage to get below freezing. I don't recommend anyone with craft supplies, like inks, anything like without liquid formulation, so your inks, pastes, etc., sprays, that kind of stuff, don't let it freeze. It's one thing if it happens, like I've literally had deliveries of like orders and products sent to me that have shown up when it's insane, like frozen salt, like bricks, and I just let them thaw out, and I've never really had an issue, but I don't allow it to keep happening because yeah, people ask me about that, especially because like they're planning on moving or storage or just different things. And I was like, I don't let this garage get below freezing. One, it would ruin our utilities and stuff and all those things, because if we were, you know, jumping in the temperature constantly, if that makes sense. So yeah, it's kept at a reasonable temperature because I'm in here 7 days a week working. So yeah, hello to all the people. And yeah, is the season for mailing. It is this time of year and mailing all the things, and just hopefully the strike and all that stuff will get resolved in the workers' favor. Okay, I have a little bit of a mess that I need to deal with. Let's flip the camera down, and this would be what about storage of crafts already made? Being certain, I don't know what you mean. If you mean like stuff you've already made, like paper crafts, fine. Again though, if things that have been made that have like adhesive use, like you've used glue, especially like tape runners, that kind of stuff, if it's like freezing and thawing, don't be surprised if stuff just falls apart quickly, because yeah. And same with like hog, anything really, anything that's been adhered in any way. If it's stored in a way that has extreme temperature fluctuations, don't be surprised if it falls apart. Might be totally fine though. But yeah, okay. There was something else I was gonna. Yeah, your hands would be too cold, and I'm doing. Yeah, if I'm too cold, I can't function. Like, let alone my hands being too cold to like put things together. Okay. I have, like I said, I have a mess. This isn't even what I'm doing. Let's explain the thought process. There we go. Okay. So, this is new. Everything else I'm using today is actually some oldie but goodie favorites. This was part of the Simon Says Stamp's November release called End Everything Nice. And I didn't even notice it at first because I was noticing the other things. Like, so there's these. I'll explain this one in a second. But I didn't even notice these. It was these guys that I noticed. I'm not using these today, but I just wanted to show them because they work with this. I'm going to play with these later. So we got Triangle Santa, Triangle Bear, and Triangle Penguin. And I was like, those are cute. And then there was this, which I was like, and then once I had time to sit and like think, I was like, oh, this is so you can make a little like triangle shaped box, you know, really quick and simple. So you could make these into like, you could make little ornaments, you know, just put a little string or place settings or, you know, whatever. And then these guys are all the size to fit on that. So I just thought I would show that before we get into it. They're cute. They're just cute. Seriously, you know? So there's those. I will be revisiting them later, just not during today's live. And then, because then this was like stuck behind something else and I didn't even realize it at first, but I was like, oh, so these triangle whirl trees, these will also, they're the same size, they'll fit. There's an entire collection, and I've done videos, we've used them in live streams, of the whirl products. So I actually, before I went live, I did a whole list. I linked to it in the description box of just all of them, because there's a bunch of different, there's a dragonfly and leaf clusters and a background and just a whole bunch of different die sets that have this whirl theme, you know, and they're fun. And like I said, I've done a bunch of videos using several of them. We've done live streams with them. They're fun. They're really fun. So I die cut these little trees just from white cardstock. We're going to add ink. It's going to be simple. It's going to be simple. And then we'll get into all the other things in a minute, because I'm just, as usual, all over the place. Yeah, we'll get back to that. So I die cut them, and they just do that, you know? So another option would be, if you wanted to go super, super clean and simple, would be to just die cut them from solid color cardstock. you know, different shades of green or whatever, or specialty cardstocks, all the things. And you wouldn't have to add ink or nothing. Like all that detail is just pierced right into it. Options. But I want to add ink because I've been just on an ink blending kick. And which, well, not an ink blending kick. I do it all the time. It's one of my favorite things to do. It just is what it is. Okay. And then because I'm live, even though it's cold, I'm starting to sweat. I don't know why. I don't know why my anxiety starts going through the roof during live streams. I think it's more just that internal fear that I'm going to like say something highly inappropriate and then get myself canceled, you know? Okay. Okay. We're good. Everything's good. Everything's good. Okay. So, inks. As always, you could totally go non-traditional, but I was also in a green mood. Trees, green, you know, not going to reinvent the wheel. So, my plan is to do 2 cards because I'm mostly clean and simple today, which again isn't really my forte, but this is where I'm at. So I think we can do 2 cards and we'll just see. We'll just see. The swirl one reminds me of Starry Night. Yeah. Yeah. You could do like with a background. You could kind of like, yeah. Yep. 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 Totally doable. Okay. I'm going to use whichever trio this is. It's linked. I just linked to 2 green ink trios. I just grabbed, I grabbed this one because this is one of my favorites. And then the other trio I'm going to use is also a favorite. And a little blending brush. And then we're just going to do like 1 color per tree. But again, options. I started recording when I craft. I find the lights are making me sweat a lot. It's hard to be under light alone. Kind of. The lights I have don't necessarily mine don't generate heat. My old lighting that I used to have back in the day, oh yeah, sitting under that to film and the heat they would generate was. But I also have a ridiculous amount of lights because I'm in my garage, and the lighting in here is non-existent. It's so fun. It's so fun. Okay. But yeah, options. And like I said, I've done other videos. Like my brain just started going. I kept clean and simple for today because it just is one of those days. But then I was like, oh, because I've done other videos where I use these types of dyes with watercolor paper. You know, die cut it and then like drop in inks, watercolor, whatever, and let it like seep in to all the piercing detail, which is also fun. Could totally do that, but not what I'm doing today. Today I'm just gonna do like 1 color per tree, simple ink blending, but we're also gonna add some splatter, and we're gonna add some little like glitter die cut embellishments because you can't go wrong with glitter, especially for like holiday and winter theme cards or just anything. Glitter is amazing. Who doesn't love glitter? Like, see, simple. And I'm actually going to switch between both combos I'm doing because I want to start with my lightest shades because I'm literally just going to use 1 brush. I'm gonna card drive home from a film. I can't wait to play in my crafty space. Found my yeah. My mojo just comes and goes. Like comes and goes by the minute, honestly. Doing this as a job sometimes is just things just go all over the place. I woke up this morning and I was just like, yeah, it's gone. Not there. I'm going live. What am I doing? What is life? You figure it out. You figure it out. I got a little random piece stuck in here, like a little cardstock fuzzy. It's like red. Get out of there. What are you doing? Why are you here? I don't think you guys will be able to see it, but I can see it, and it's driving me nuts. Get out. Why? Why? There we go. He's gone now. And then we can just fix him. There. There. Okay. So then the other combo, because yeah, I love this like jade eucalyptus juniper, even though I think my jade color. Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna re-die cut this. I need a separate brush for him. He's such a pale ink, and my brush is so loaded. That's what I was trying to do before I went live. My brush is so loaded with deeper greens that it is making him not look the color he's supposed to look. And that's bugging me. I think that is an ink color that I need like a dedicated brush for. Because here, I'll show you. Show what I'm explaining. That was the blending. This is what the actual ink color looks like. It's a softer green. That's what my brush is doing to it. Not like it's the end of the world. Usually I just go with it, but today, whatever. It'll take me 2 seconds to die cut a new one and fix him. He needs to be fixed. So let's just run him through and die cut him. And yes, hello to everybody. Dupe. And yes. Okay. Let's die cut this guy one more time. There we go. And then yeah, that's the other combo I plan on using, which this color is more like this. I know, eucalyptus, jade, like these like sage green sort of colors, love. And this combo, more almost like kale is getting close to a pine shade, not quite, because there is one that's more that color. But yeah, love it. Okay, I just need a different brush. Let's just use. Do I have an untouched? Yes, I do. An untouched brush. I'll just use one of my Ultimate Mini blending brushes. That'll be fine. It'll be fine. Everything's fine. Keep the ink off. Let's do this again. And then he will look so much better. There, that's what I needed. That's what I needed. Oh, lovely, lovely, lovely. Yep. So much better. So much better. Okay. Again, usually I don't get too pedantic and picky over my inks when I'm blending them, like being exact, because again, like we've talked about a million times, I don't bother cleaning my brushes like at all. But every once in a while, I'll run, when I want a really light color, this helps. That's how it's supposed to look. Look at the difference. So, again, it's just me getting just a smidge fussy, but is what it is. Okay. So that was that one. So that's jade. And then I want to do, I already lost, where are my other inks? There they are. Don't laugh at me. I'm unprofessional, okay? I know what I'm doing. I have no idea what I'm doing. Why am I here? Okay, this one's cabbage. This one, another favorite, very much, because I'm pretty sure I re-inked this not too long ago because I use this one a lot. So I'm basically just working, like I said, lightest to darkest with all these inks because I have technically one brush, but now two, because I'll use that other one for these other shades just to keep the colors a little more pure, because I want to be ridiculous, is what it is. But yeah, that's cabbage. Lovely. I paper towel them once in a while. I kind of do that. Like, honestly, again, I don't wash my brushes. I just don't. I will scrub them on a cloth. I'll scrub them on a microfiber cloth, and I go on about my day. 99% of the time, it just doesn't matter. Right before we went live, I was spraying, and I don't do this for everyone. I took alcohol. This is, your isopropyl alcohol. Don't use it on your stamps. but I was spraying it on the cloth and really, you know, trying to clean this out because this is just, all my brushes like this are just saturated with ink because I use them all the time. And I took out a lot of green and I was hoping I could get enough out. But really, I would basically just have to like fully wash these with gentle soap and water. I don't recommend like spraying alcohol on them or like soaking them in alcohol or anything like that because the alcohol, if it gets into any brush like this where bristles are adhered, that alcohol can break down the adhesive and then no, not worth it. Not worth it. But I'll just use this little brush. This'll work. This'll work. It'll be fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Cabbage is one of my favorites. Yeah, I love the, I reach for this one a lot. The cabbage, artichoke, and kale. I've bajillion values. These three I reach for over and over again. And then lately I've really been going for this jade, eucalyptus, juniper because it's that sage sort of color of greens. And I really like them. Like they're just, I like that blue undertone. Ugh, gorgeous. Gorgeous. But again, greens, there's a bajillion varieties, and it is something I like having a lot of, like variety when it comes to greens. And I talk about that depending on what I'm doing, not even just this, but if I'm doing florals, which I do a lot, when you're dealing with like greenery, different types of greenery, or whether it's die cut, stamps, whatever, you want different shades of green. One, that's how it is. Two, it just looks better instead of having everything the exact same color. Hopefully that makes sense. So I like having a variety of green, and you can never have too many, in my opinion. And it just depends on my mood. I reach for sort of similar ones quite often, but then it just depends on the mood I'm going for, and yeah. I love Twisted Citron with almost every, yeah. Like when I get into distress colors, my like knee-jerk go-to 90% of the time is Twisted Citron and Rustic Wilderness. Those two together, love it. Love it so much. It's so beautiful. Love it. But then yeah, I love all the greens. You can never have too many. I think you really do have to save a set of brushes for very light colors. Honestly, I'm this close to doing that. I was thinking about it just the other day because I have a ridiculous amount of brushes. But I was thinking because I do so much ink blending now, and I have a ridiculous amount of inks, ridiculous amount of brushes, all the things. But then I was like, I almost need like, yeah, a set that I would keep for, you know, the light pale colors, and then a set for basically medium to the darkest. Because those ones, it doesn't usually matter at all. Like rub it off on a cloth, you're good to go. But those pale colors, you know, because it's those, these are the ones that are the easiest to get, you know, mixed up. So yeah, that's done with a clean brush, and that was done with the brush that I tried to clean. And just that difference, it's always hard to show on, there we go. So that's jade as it's meant to be. And then that's how it looks, you know? So again, I'm getting a little like, you know, but yeah, when I want things to be more true, and because I was going to combine it with the other colors so it's not like that yellow tint to it, that's why. So yeah, I most likely will, I was going through my brushes and realizing just how many I have, and then Chris was poking fun at it, and I'm still going to get more, and you can't stop me. I like it. I like all my blending brushes and all my inks. Again, like I keep saying, do you need all the inks and like from multiple brands and da-da-da? No. I can't help myself. Some of it, I do this as a job. You know, some of it gets sent to me. But I'm always just like, ooh, you know, new colors. Ooh, pretty colors. And I like having variety. I do. I really do. I have a lot of respect for the makers that can like stick to a more conservative like color palette, like just the colors they like, And it's like, that's what they like to work with. And they do that with their inks, their markers, like everything. It's like, I just use this. And I'm like, that is admirable. And I wish I had that kind of restraint because it would also be a lot cheaper. But I try, and then I'm like, nope, I have to have all the colors of everything. Like, just is what it is, man. Just is what it is. They're pretty different. The other one was more yellowish. Yeah, like, that's just it. Like, I've never had, like, blending brushes, like, one for every color. I've always been against it. I still kind of am. More so because, like, that, oh, for the amount of colors I have and the amount of brushes I would need, that's insane. But those that are able to do it, love that for you, because there's a part of me that's just like, man, it would be so nice to have, like, a brush for every color. But also, I don't know where I'd put them. I don't know. But don't be surprised. You know, someone can, like, reference this in 10 years and be like, how'd that work out for you when I have, like, a brush for every single color? Because I probably will end up there. Like, let's be honest. Let's be honest. It would make my life easier. It would. And again, I do this as a job. I make a lot of cards. I can come up with every justification. But there's that combo. Love it. Love it. Love it so much. Look how beautiful. So yeah, that's Jade. This is one of the newer combos. It's not, these inks aren't new. I forget what release these came out in. A few months ago. Whenever. I don't remember. But it's beautiful. These will soften a little bit. These will dry back a little bit and soften as they fully dry. So they'll be a little bit lighter than they are when they're, like, freshly stamped, you know, freshly applied, freshly blended, etc. But, oh, they're pretty. They're so pretty. I love them. I love them. I love them. But again, I love all the colors. Every time someone's like, what's your favorite? I'm like, don't ask me that. Depends, again, it depends on my mood. Depends on my day. Depends on my mood. Depends on what I'm going for. And then they'll be like, look at these new colors. And I'm like, add to cart. Whatever, man. Is what it is. Okay. I know. I think a lot of us are in that same boat. I have whole set syndrome. I do too. It's hard. It's really hard. It's really hard. Like, we've joked about setting up like a 12-step program for all of us, but there's no point because we would all, you know, meet for our 12 steps about full set syndrome and just encourage each other to buy more. It is what it is. Let's just be honest. Let's just, you know. Okay.
Full set syndrome is in the DSM-4. It's a real thing.
What is the DSM-4 again?
That's where they categorize mental illnesses.
Is it really in there?
No.
Oh. Dude, look, I has mental illness, okay? So I would believe it. If I could just say that's part of my, it's part of my mental illness, full set syndrome. It's only a matter of time. I'm sure it'll end up in the DSM-4 at some point, man. And whatever. Again, I know I'm repetitive with it. Me saying, like, you don't need all the things. Because you don't. It's true. You don't. You don't need all the things. However, 1, we're all adults. 2, if it brings you joy and isn't causing financial harm or any other type of harm to a person, have at her. In whatever capacity that means to someone. Whether it's art supplies or whatever little collectible or, like, whatever. You know, video games, Lego, whatever. Don't care. You know? Because there's a lot worse things a person could be buying, doing, you know, all of it. So I like it. I like it. I like having colors. I like having options. And yeah, I use the whole justification of, like, I do this as a job. So, like, this is a business expense. But if this wasn't my job, would I be just this as ridiculous with all of it? Yep. 100%. I was like this before I started doing this as a job. So they're up to the DSM-5 now.
How Okay.
Wonderful. Wonderful. I'm sure I'm in there multiple times in however many ways. I'd lose my full set group chip almost immediately after earning it. Yeah, exactly. And that'd be the problem. If we did a full set syndrome 12-step program, we'd all do it to earn all the chips till we had all of them.
Yeah.
We would learn nothing. We would learn nothing. You know? It is what it is. Because I would 100%. I would do all the work to earn all the chips because I need that. I can laugh about it. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. Oh, see, I love this color too. I love all it. I love it. You know. And that's it. The ones that can resist, like and I mean that. I full respect and some admiration for that. The people that can resist and just can be content. Because sometimes I get myself too caught up in needing all the colors of something instead of just using what I've got. There's some definite creativity and ingenuity in making do with what you have and working around things. Like 1000%. I do it myself sometimes, but then I'll get too caught up in like, I can't even use it until I have all the colors. You know. Yeah. I'm aware. I am aware of my own ridiculousness, but it is art supplies. They make me happy. And other than the paste, because I keep saying it, when it comes to paste, those are something you don't want to collect all the colors of because they will dry out and go bad. But things like my inks, my cardstocks, that kind of stuff, they're fine, you know? And I use them. So, so good. So good. Poop. I'm trying to figure out how to share my family room. Parrot lives there for more crossface. Oh, I like birds. Yeah, there's tarps, right? Yeah. Oh, I could just imagine. Yep. I always love what kale dries, but yes, kale will dry back a bit. It is a deeper color, but it will. They all do. These ink formulas now, and yes, Deborah. The ink formulas we have now, and I like a broken record. It applies to Simon's Positively Saturated, the Rainbow Splash line, which is also by Simon's The Stamp. I think it's the same ink formula as far as I'm concerned. Concord and Ninth inks, and Altany Fresh Dye inks. And the only reason I say those are the ones I have. Like I have those inks. I've used them for, years now. They're very similar to me. There's other ink brands out there that I'm sure also fall under this category. I'm just not familiar with them. That's why I don't mention them. Because people ask me and I was like, I genuinely just don't know. And I'm scared to order another brand. Not because it's bad, but because full set syndrome. And I was like, where am I going to put it all? Like, I'll get obsessed. These types of inks, I do recommend, if a person wants to get into them, to either get their re-inker at the same time or just have it in your little memory bank that you will need it. Especially if you're more conservative and you're only working with like a set amount of inks. You don't need 5 million ink pads. But the ink formulas we have now, and because of all the things we do with them, like I didn't do all this like the ink blending and the stamping and like watercoloring with them, smushing them onto everything. Because the older style ink pads from like a decade ago, those high didn't do that because they weren't water reactive. So I've been re-inking my ink pads more frequently, not all the time, There's several of mine, quite a few, that I haven't re-inked yet, but that's because I have a bunch of them. And I'm jumping between this brand, you know. But I'm starting to notice here and there already with certain ones that I reach for a lot. I was like, ooh, need to re-ink that one, you know. I go through, but that's because I do more with them than I did back in the day. Because I'm ink blending, stamping, smushing it onto a palette, watercoloring with them. Like, I use my inks a lot. A lot. Um, do that, and I don't do it as a job. I do it because it makes me happy. Exactly. Exactly. And Kari, yeah, you didn't miss the live. I am live as I'm speaking to you. So welcome to the chaos. So yeah, yes. And then yes, with things like specialty inks, that's a different like category, but like pigment inks, like like your white pigment ink, that's always good to have. Metallic inks, those types, I 100% recommend getting a re-inker, because when it's got pigment in it, pigments are larger molecules, and you just go through it way more frequently. So I just cannot recommend it enough with specifically pigment inks, because like just the type ink pad and the type of formulas, yeah, yeah, highly recommend. But yeah, there's our little bit of doesn't the type of pad on the ink affect how often re-inking is needed? Kind of, because again, since we're doing some, I don't mind going these little side tangents. The Simon inks, the Rainbow Splash inks, and the Concord and Ninth inks all have the foam ink pad. And I'm also aware of, I don't have them, Simon Hurley's inks have switched over to that, to a foam ink pad. His are called like Vivid, is it Vivid? Something. Because yeah, he's done a video, I think, explaining it all. But anyway, foam ink pads like this, you do use up the ink more, kind of. The point of the foam, like the reason they go with the foam pad is it's faster. Like you can ink things up, your blending brushes are able to pull more ink, and you can like do more quicker. So in theory, you are re-inking them more often. However, without being able to like, I would love to actually be able to sit in the facility that like makes the ink pads and be like, exactly how many grams of like ink is in this? Can we compare them? That'd be fun. But yeah, the felt ink pads, which Altenews Fresh Dye inks are felt, do they need to be re-inked less often? Honestly, it's hard to tell because like, I got like a million inks. You know, it. You know, Stellar. Thank you, Lisa. Yeah, Simon Hurley's inks. It's Stellar. That's what they're called now, and they went from felt to foam, and it'll be like this type of foam ink pad. I like both. The foam ink pads, when it comes to specifically stamping, especially solid images, these foam ink pads are a little nicer, because the issue with the felt ink pads is when you're stamping a solid stamp is you definitely need a stamp positioner, because you usually need to ink up and stamp multiple times, because a lot of times you'll get the impression of the linen top of the felt ink pad onto the stamp. So that's another reason why a lot of brands are choosing the foam, because you just get a crisper, more solid impression with solid stamps. Again, it's up to personal preference, yada yada yada. But I've got both. I like both. The distress inks and distress oxides, those are felt, and then the fresh dye inks, those are felt. Simons are foam, Concord and Ninths are foam, and then like I said, there are other brands out there. I just don't have them to compare. And then oh, here's another one. I tend to stamp in blacks not so much in colors. I've limited myself to distress oxides and distress cubes. Should I get a different set for stamping? You don't need to. Oxides stamp really nicely. They are not formulated for it. Same with the distress inks. That is not how they are. They were never formulated for stamping. They were formulated for the blending and the inking and the smushing and the techniques and, you know, the bajillion things you can do with those inks. You can still stamp with them. They just, especially the distress inks, because they don't have that added component to them that these types of inks have that cause these to like smooth out a bit and dry back a bit. Like they're similar, but distress ink and distress oxide, very unique formula. Those ones I keep in their own like mentally like separate category. But yeah, oxides do stamp better because of the pigment component. I like stamping with the oxides. But depending on what you're trying to do, you know, like because that's we've got these little like trios and combos and da 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 da. And most of them, at the very, very least, if a person was like kind of interested, you don't even have to get the full size ink pads. You get the cubes instead, because that is a more economical way. The thing though with cubes of any brand, 100% recommend having re-inkers for cubes because cubes are little. You know, you got an ink pad of this size, and a cube is like less than like it's about a fifth of the size, so it only holds a fifth of the ink. You know, so cubes do need re-inkers, but yeah. Does the foam break down over time? Not really. Caveat: certain colors can go funny. I have like I've talked about reds a million times over. When you're dealing with any sort of red dye, red pigments, reds are their own beast in all forms of anything. Markers, inks, pigments. Red is a curiosity in a way. It will go just weird in any brand, and it depends, especially the more concentrated, like the brighter and deeper that red is, it can get just weird sometimes. Like people have shown videos or photos over the years of their ink pad, and it'll be like some random red, doesn't matter the brand, and it'll have like weird stuff on it. Like one person was just like, it's mold. It's not mold. It's not mold. It's just the red being weird, and it almost like crystallizes sometimes. So reds can be weird. Doesn't matter whether it's foam, felt, dye, pigment. Reds are weird. They just are. I have not had any of my foam ink pads. None of the reds have gone weird. Funny enough, it's really, really intense aqua blue shades. They haven't broken down. I've just noticed that the foam ink pad's a little bit different. Still works fine. Stamps fine. I noticed it looks a little different, and I'm like, and I did have an ink cube years ago. It was a deep navy color, and the foam did break down. So I haven't figured out yet exactly what the cause is, and the fact that it's like a blue shade, because blues don't normally do that. But yeah, I've had most of these. I forget when Simon first released these. Like the first set of colors. That was how many years ago now? And they're all fine. I don't know what my oldest foam ink pads are yet, but I've had them for years and I've used them heavily, re-inked, etc., and I've never had a problem. So, yeah. How long does color last in a foam pad? Couldn't tell you. It would depend on how much a person uses it. That's up to how much a person uses it. What it runs out, do you re-ink them or buy new ones? I re-ink. I don't buy new ones. I re-ink. I have re-inkers for all of my ink pads, or almost all of them. And I just re-ink. The only time I would ever purchase like a new one is if I accidentally put like the wrong color, re-inking like completely ruined it. I wouldn't bother washing it out. I was like, the time and effort to like fix that, I would just buy a new ink pad. Or if I managed to like wreck it in some way. Haven't done it yet, but I'm sure I will at some point do something really stupid, like knock something or like coffee onto it or something, then I would buy a new one. But when they're getting dry, I re-ink them. I don't buy a new one. Never, just few drops, like a, and I let it sit and it's good to go. It's good to go. Okay. Yeah. 3, 3. Okay. I don't want to mix up my, there's my combos. So there's my random treatsy on inks. Yeah. In my experience, foam does work down at Murphy ink pads or foam and Adirons. Yeah, the Marvy ink, so that's like, when you're getting into some of it, like, yeah, decades, it can get interesting. But yes. My yellow's turned orange. Yeah. Some stuff will go weird, you know? Even what I said earlier about using up your paste. Don't hoard them and collect them. They will dry out. Inks, use them. You know, I wouldn't invest or purchase if I wasn't planning on using them. Like, oh, like in 10 years when I retire or something like that, like get them down with something like that. No. You know? Because no matter what, they are still a water-based liquid medium. It's just suspended in a pad. I wouldn't expect like this ink pad if I was to just leave it closed and, 10 years from now to just like open it up and for it to be pristine. I would be shocked. Can it happen? Yeah. But yeah, dyes and pigments and all of it can just go funny over time. I haven't had it happen yet. I can't remember the last time anything's really changed color. I'm sure I've had something, but it's been like a long time. But yeah. So yeah, is what it is. Okay, let's get back to what I was doing. So I've got my little trees. I got my trees. And where's my card bases? Okay. There is a method to the madness. Sort of. I think. I have a plan. Now my brain is just like going on about like inks and experiments and longevity and re-inking and foam versus felt and yeah. Okay. Card bases. Same white cardstock. And they're A2, so 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And like a method to the madness. I have a rough idea of what I plan on doing. Sort of. We'll see. We'll see if it works. I want to get these here because we want to do some splattering. And funny enough, I think wasn't it just last week's live we were talking about the Big Mama foam tape and how long I've had it, which we discussed because I had written on it in a live stream, which is now worn off. This was back in March, was when we cracked this thing open. And I said in that live, I think it was last week's live or the one before, one of them. It was recent. I don't remember. And I was all like, oh yeah, that's going to last me the end of the year. And then I used it like a crazy person over like all the videos I did last week. I think I used Big Mama foam tape in every single video and then some. And I was like, I'm going to be done this in like a week. I have backups. Everything's fine. We're fine. It's fine. Okay. I got my trees. I want to pop these up with a little bit of dimension. So I'm going to start with the one in the back. We'll start with him and then we'll work our way like out basically. So this will give that little bit of dimension without creating a bunch of bulk. Cut that on an angle. My red did clump up. It scraped off. Yeah, red again. Red is a very odd pigment and dye. It just is. It likes to get weird in ink pads. And then when you think of things like, oh, people who dye their hair, when you try to do vibrant reds, how it fades super quickly because reds, they're larger molecules. And they're finicky. They stain everything and they're just weird. That's the only way I can really fully describe it. And I have had many ink pads in the past where it's like you open up the red and it's got, yeah, like weird little dark chunks. And I've literally just scraped that off, re-inked it, and gone on about my day. I don't care. Because it's red. It's just what red likes to do. Okay. We got a bit of that. And then peel off the backing. Boop. So we can get this guy down like so. So I want to do like a little, like just a cluster of these little trees on the front of my card. And again, this is like my version of clean and simple. So then I just want to avoid that spot and put foam tape rather so that I'm not creating like weird bumps, if that makes sense. That makes sense? I don't know. I just threw out an ink pad like that. I wish I'd known I didn't have to. It depends. Sometimes things are just not salvageable. Sometimes they are. Sometimes it's just not worth the effort. It depends on the situation, and it just depends on what it is, you know. I find with an ink pad, if it was to go super funky for whatever reason, if the chance to save it requires multiple steps and washing out, it's like I would rather just pay the $8, whatever, you know, to just buy a new one. You know, some stuff it's, you know, I'll take the time and I'll be like, no, I can fix this. I can, you know, re-adhere. If something like the foam or the felt coming off, that's happened. It's I haven't had it happen with any of my dye inks. I've had it happen, I think, with one of my I think it was one of my distress oxides or something. It just happened to, you know, not be fully adhered properly. I just re-glued it on. I just used like super glue. Squeeze some under there and, you know, press it down and then just let it sit for a day or two, and it was fine. I didn't worry about it. Okay. Big Mama rolls. Yeah, no, he's a little baby now. He's no longer Big Mama. You know, when I do get to crack into the next one, it will be Big Mama again. And that's the thing. I like when it's small, but I'm not even kidding. The amount of times this past week that I kept losing this because it would just be under like my phone or something, like something kind of small, and I'm like, which I know we have a standing joke. I've lost it when it was like Big Mama size because I had it propped up at one point with some other things and I couldn't find it for the life of me. Thought it was crazy. And then it was just right there, like this. Just right there, like right in front of me. And I couldn't see it. But again, we've talked about this. I will lose things. Still haven't found that watercolor paper. At this point, I don't expect to. That goes there. Okay, don't get your greens mixed up. Not that it really matters. But yeah, the amount of time I waste searching for supplies. And Christine, I responded to that question last week when you asked it. The backing is fine. The backing on the Big Mama, and it's been fine for years. They changed it years ago. Years ago. And yeah, because it used to be a lot more difficult. It hasn't been, and I'm showing it right now. No problems whatsoever. It used to be very finicky to remove the backing. It was still worth it because this foam tape, I love how thin it is, but yeah. I used to have to pry it off with scissors or something, like just something sharp, but yeah, no issues. Super glue. Oh yeah, like that. I just use like a strong glue. Strong glue. That's all I've ever used. I've never had a with the foaming pads. I'd probably use maybe hot glue. I don't know. I've never had one of my foaming pads come unattached. Oh, I need to add glue to this. Um, so I'm not sure what I would use if I needed to reattach because I have not had any, and I smush with these and blend and stamp and ink and like they get a workout, and I've never had to, not once. And it's not like I'm that precious with my tools. Like I take care of them, but things can happen. Um, but yeah, I don't know what I would use to reattach if I needed to. Probably just like not a thin super glue, like not one that's like super liquidy, but the type of super glues that are really like thick. You know what I mean? Because I know like a Gorilla Glue or whatever. I don't like working with super glues. I hate the smell. Gross. But I'll use it if I have to. But that's what I would do. If it was like detached, I would probably just put a little bit. Just you wouldn't need much because there's not a lot of weight there. But yeah, that's all I would do. It would be fine. It should be fine. When you blend a lot, do you have to re-ink your pads more often? Yes. If you do a lot of ink blending, if you're using your inks a lot, you do need to re-ink them more frequently. Do I want to do that one like the dark behind again? I kind of like that. Yeah. Yes, you do need to re-ink more often if you are ink blending. Especially if that's like your thing, and that's like all you do is a lot of ink blending and solid stamping, etc. You do need to re-ink more frequently because you're using up the ink. Let me get there. Get in your home. Okay. Boop. Do can't use super glue without getting it all over my finger. I know. I don't like super glues. I just don't. I use them when I absolutely have to for something, but I don't like the smell. I don't like the feel of it. I hate. What was the main super glue for the longest time?
Gorilla Glue.
Before Gorilla Glue. There was something else. And my brain can't remember the name of it.
Liquid cement?
No. It was before Gorilla Glue, and it was like liquid. The kind that you can use to like seal up like wounds. It's a liquid and it's like a super glue, but you can literally use it if you hold like if you slice your skin, and you can use it to adhere the skin together. I hate that stuff. I hate it so much. I hate how it feels. It drives me insane. Talk about mental issues, textile and tactile issues. Fully. I don't like it. E6000. Yeah. Crazy glue. There. Crazy glue.
Okay, well.
For someone who calls herself crazy all the time, you'd think I'd remember it. Yeah, crazy glue. Hate that stuff. Hate it so much. Hate it. I used to play with that stuff as a kid. And hot glue. But sticking, because if you get crazy glue and you'd stick fingers together, Dermablond is a skin glue. It is. Like, there's stuff specifically meant for skin, but it's, I get it. But you could use crazy glue for it too. Hated that stuff so much. Like, it worked, but I did not like that feeling. Because it would, like, fuse your skin, and then it would be hard, and it was really hard to remove, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Okay. Have I said I have issues? Is anyone surprised? You shouldn't be. Okay. Let's keep adhering our little dudes here to these card fronts. Doop, doop. And we got that. Yep. Yep, it's starting to come together. There we go. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. All those types of glues, they work quite well. I don't like them. And so many of them have just that rank smell that no thank you. No thank you. That's why I like the glues I have for crafting. They don't have a scent to them. And they don't stay sticky when they dry. Because that was the thing I hated back in the day when we only had the Tombow Monomulti, you know, that green and white little bottle. And that was like the go-to craft glue. And I used it and I liked it, but I hated getting it on my skin because it dried tacky. So you'd have that sticky gross. So disgusting. I hated that. So yeah. But these glues, like my craft tacky glue from Simon and their the newer one, the Positively Perfect craft glue, whatever they call it, those don't do that. Those do not dry tacky, thankfully, because I don't like it. It bugs me. And again, I have issues. It's very, very obvious. Okay. Does Big Mama foam adhesive come in different foam thicknesses? Nope. It only comes in one. Other foam tapes. I did a whole little treatsy on that. Wasn't that last week's live? Oh, that's like you had already left the office when I went on about that. I went on about foam tapes in last week's live. At the end, after I was done making, I showed the different thicknesses because Altenew has different thicknesses. Simon's has the thinnest foam tape. But yeah, I went on about that in last week's live, like afterwards. Did a whole little treatsy on foam tape because they've got different thicknesses. Okay, so now these are adhered. Oh, and my face camera died. Like, I'm still live. That's interesting. You'll see it. It'll go black in about a second once the stream catches up. Yep.
Oh, that's fun.
And that was, it said battery exhausted.
It's plugged in.
Yeah. Thankfully that this camera worked. I don't know what's happening.
I guess we're going down to one camera for
another thing to figure out. Love that so much for me. And here I thought everything was good with my setup. We're going to have to figure out why that decided to do that. Anyway, okay, back to what we're doing. Got this splatter. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm like, why am I here? I don't know. I don't know why I'm here. Okay. Well, it's still live. We'll see what. Yeah. This time it was a full-on like hardware issue. It was the camera itself just died. So annoying. Okay, where's my splatter? Where's all my splatter? Well, I pulled some out. Splatter. Where did my pretty? I pulled it out before we went live. Where did I put it? It grew legs and walked away. This isn't cool, man. My camera died. My splatter ran away. Life is hard. Wah. Seriously. I had it in my hand. Oh, there it is. Crisis averted. Sort of. Other than the camera issue. Why did it do that? I'm scared. You know what? I'm not going to touch anything. I'm scared if I mess around with it, it'll literally end the stream. Because that's happened before. So let's just keep going. Gansai Tambi Starry Colors. And doop. There we go. And then we're going to we'll do the yellow gold. So we'll add some water to that. And then we got to work it up. Where's my little fan brush? So we'll work this up until I'm happy with the consistency. It's a very well loved palette that I've almost completely used up some of these colors. I do have a backup of this because I do loves my starry colors. They are beautiful. Okay. Sounds like a country song. My camera died, my splatter ran away. I mean, yeah, I could totally. You guys be thankful that I'm not going to sing for you. That would be bad, you know? My audience ran away after I sang about it. That's what would happen. What a day. Anywho, okay. We got things all mixed up. Doop, doop, doop. Just like so. And then we're going to add some splatter. Doop. Like that. Add some like that. Maybe add a bit more because, you know, more is more and I never know when to stop because I like splatter so much. It's pretty and it makes me happy. Boop, boop, boop. Let's do a little bit of that. Yep. Okay, that's good for the gold. We're still going to add some black splatter though because I can. Just because I can. Okay. Clean off my brush. Set this guy aside so I don't flip it and make a mess. And then for black splatter, I'll use, what will I use? I will just use, that's convenient, some of this Hero Arts Black Acrylic Speckle. Why they called it Speckle, I don't know. It's splatter, but I'm okay with that. We're not going to add as much of this, just a little bit, you know. Just a smidge, or my version of a smidge. Okay. It's pretty new one of my favorite gold. Oh yeah, the Starry Colors palette I have used for years. Love it so much. Okay. I think I need to put a bit more on my palette. I still want a decent amount. I'm not gonna do like a ton of the black. There we go. There we go. Okay. So like I said, just a bit of the black. And that's my version of a bit, you know? Mm-hmm. Okay, we're good. We're good. Mercury is in retrograde. I mean, sure. I'm sure it is. That's probably why my camera was just like, screw you, man. Mercury's in retrograde. I'm done. I'm just annoyed. It's like I've never seen that like the battery deplete. That doesn't even make sense. It's plugged in. It's not a Huh? Oh, that's that little fancy remote that you have. That's for the little heater. Yeah, I told you. You're welcome. You're so welcome. Yeah, it turns on and off. Oh, there you go. You getting a little toasty warm over there in your corner?
It's actually not bad.
Well, be thankful because it was cold when I came in here this morning.
Oh,
so that's why I set up that heater for you.
It was minus 23 with the wind chill this morning.
Was it minus 23? I believe it. It's gross. Just gross. And I say that and we'll hit minus 50 probably by February.
Yeah.
It's going to be so fun.
Tomorrow's supposed to be plus 10.
Yep. Yeah, that's right. It's supposed to get warm and then it'll get cold again. Oh, chaos. Anyway, then your outlet might have tripped. Oh no, the outlet didn't trip. Trust me. That's my computer's plugged into the same outlet. The whole stream would have went dead. That wasn't it. It's something with the camera, and that's weird. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Anyway, we'll figure it out. So there's my little bit to splatter. Nothing too crazy. For me, anyway, you know? I do love that gold. That's beautiful. Okay, we're doing that. And then for my sentiments, because while those dry, my sentiments, this is an oldie but goodie set that I pulled out. This came out a couple years ago, at least. This is the CZ Design Holiday Typewriter little set. Boop. I couldn't imagine temps that low. Oh, well, we hit minus. Ooh, I got black all over me. We hit minus 30 Celsius on the regular. Minus 40 Celsius is the same in Fahrenheit. Minus 40 is minus 40. Once you hit minus 40, after that, it's just cold.
Yeah, you don't really know.
It just gets crazy. And then, yes, we hit minus 50 usually, at least once a winter. And minus 50 Celsius is minus like 58 Fahrenheit. I don't even know. Who cares? It's just stupid cold. Okay. I want to use... What sentiment do I want to use? There's so many. We could do peace. I kind of like that one. Yeah, that's what I'll use. Because then on the inside, I'll put all his commas, right? There we go. Okay. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to use that sentiment. I don't even... Do I need to use my Misty for this? Probably not. Probably not. This is also why I did the black splatter. Because I want to gold heat emboss the sentiment onto... Boop. When you troubleshoot, make sure your connections haven't loosened because something made it run on the battery. It's not even that. It's, yeah, nothing moves in my setup, but that's also why. It'd be different if I actually had been touching the wires, but nothing has been touched. We will figure out. Yeah, once the live is over, I'm not touching anything during the live because one little thing can trigger the software to just be like, nope, I'm out. So, anyway, black cardstock. Powder tool. I already had my heat tool plugged in because that used to affect my lives back in the day. Some of y'all might remember that. Just plugging in my heat tool would like cause a camera to shut off. The amount of tribulations I've had with the live streaming. Like dumb little setups. Love it so much. Okay. Do. Oh, clear ink pad. Boop. And then, yeah, and then people have fan brush, small tubes. Oh, so many options when it comes to splatter. And normally I use just, you know, my duct taped fan brush that I broke during a live stream a year ago, whenever it was, and I just duct taped it back together because who cares? Fan brush, any brush. So many things. And lately I've been like jumping around with just different brushes, different splatter mediums. I have a video coming possibly later today. I'm still editing it. It was supposed to go up yesterday and I just too many things. And yeah, I do some sparkly splatter and I use a different brush and you know, so many things. Anyway. Dupe. Poor CZ still stresses about when she accidentally shut her live stream off. Oh, I know. And I told her, I was like, dude, I've done the same thing. Like, I literally knocked a block over onto my stream deck during a live and it hit the, like, end the live button. And I can only laugh about it because it's me. And I've had so many just weird, bizarre issues. It happens. It's annoying. And, yeah. Yeah. A lot of y'all remember, like I've got some lives that it's like 3 parts because it, you know, broke. Then we do the second part and then it breaks again. And then we do the third part. So much fun. So much fun. Okay. Clear ink pad. Anti-static powder. For those that might be newer to heat embossing. If you have never heat embossed, you should try it because that's the most magical thing in paper crafting. The first time I heat embossed anything over 20 years ago, and it was just like, oh, you know, magic. It's so fun and it's so easy. So anti-static powder tool, highly recommend. You use that on your cardstock and that just helps with static. And things like, you know, if you're anything like me and you got oily skin, because I got fingerprints on everything, the anti-static powder just helps prevent your embossing powder from clinging where it don't belong. And then clear embossing ink. I've been using the Simon stuff for a bajillion years. Versamark works too. Really, any slow drying sticky ink will work. And then you just ink her up real good. Stamp it down. And I'm doing it twice since I'm making 2 cards. There we go. And then I'm using gold embossing powder. So we sprinkle that on, let it sit for a second, and then tap off the excess. And then we're going to melt this with the heat tool. And because it's gold on black, this is going to show up on camera, which is also just fun. Heat embossing was my gateway drug. I know, right? Because it is. It's just, it is. It's addictive and it's fun, especially metallics. Metallic embossing powder. I will never give this up. Okay, my heat tool is melted or like heated up. Let's do it. I got to do this. I can stand up now because you guys can't see me. Yeah. Yes. Love it. Love it so much. I can't remember. Do you stamp in white pigment when you use white embossing powder? Sometimes. Sometimes. Honestly, most of the time, I just use clear embossing ink most of the time. Every once in a while, I'll stamp with white pigment ink. However, how's the easiest way to explain this? If I'm using just an acrylic block, which a lot of people just don't use anymore, which is totally fine. When you have a stamp positioner, this is a little easier. If I was going to use specifically this sentiment, because you see it's thicker, it is not as detailed as like some of these little tinier sentiments. If I wanted to white heat emboss this and I wanted to use white pigment ink, I would use my Misty or just a stamp positioner so I could ink it up and stamp it more than once to make sure I got like solid coverage of the ink. Because again, totally different types of ink, you know? But yeah, I jump back and forth. The claim is like, oh, if you stamp in white and then heat emboss with white embossing powder, you get better coverage. Honestly, I jump back and forth. Sometimes this works great. Sometimes I'm just like, why would I do that? And I go right back to using the clear. It yeah. It has never like wowed me to where it's like I always have to use white pigment ink when I use white embossing powder, because sometimes it does work. Other times, I don't know. It's just being a bum. Where's my microfiber? There it is. It was hiding. Okay. Sorcery. Yeah, it is. It is like sorcery. Do you ever think that maybe your craft room is haunted? Oh, it is. I have a poltergeist in here. He lives in my cardstock filing cabinet behind me. Literally. It'll be just dead silent in here and it'll just open. Like, I have a poltergeist in here. I know it. I think we gave him a name at one point. We can just call him Fred. Yeah. And he's probably, I wouldn't be surprised, he's probably messing with my camera right now just to, yeah, it is what it is. If I stamp in white, I use clear embossing powder. I don't like white pigment ink and clear embossing powder. It's not as crisp. Nowhere near as crisp as white embossing powder. Like, there is no ink pad. This side note, there is no ink pad out there that will give you bright, solid, white stamping. Doesn't exist. And as far as I'm concerned, it will never exist. You're dealing with the natures of like pigments and like trying to get a formula, etc. It just won't. Because I've had a lot of people ask me because they're like, I hate heat. I don't like heat embossing. I want to be able to just stamp it in white, like solid white. And I was like, you ain't going to get there. Even if you use the stamper and stamp multiple times, you're just building up those pigments. So one, you're going to start losing definition, and two, it's never going to dry once you get like multiple layers. So it's like just stamp it and heat emboss it in white. Hopefully that makes sense. But can you stamp in, like if I stamp this in white and then emboss with clear, it would be very cloudy looking. It wouldn't be crisp. So if I wanted the sentiment white, I would use white embossing powder. But it also depends on the look you're going for. If you want a softer look, that with clear embossing powder would look cool. It would look cool. Just depends on the look you're going for. Here we go. I just started heat embossing and I noticed the heat gun changes the color of the paper. What am I doing wrong? You might be overheating. Again, we're dealing with colors. You know, cardstocks, certain colors can change with heat. Like you'll notice it with like pinks, purples, and you're dealing with those reds again. When you heat it, at times it'll change. Another thing to always remember is you do not need to heat very long. As you saw, I heat the minute the embossing liquefies, move that heat tool away. And then the minute it's done, heat tool gone. Keep it away from the cardstock. If you overheat your cardstock, you will liquefy that embossing powder. It will literally start turning into a liquid and it will go and soak into the fibers. And that's where you get that patchy, uneven look. Because people just want to overheat it. And it's like, no, seconds. It takes seconds, which, I showed. Heat, remove. But certain colors could. Yes, it was pink. Ha, I was right. Yeah. Again, pinks, they're in that red family. They've got those little bits of reds in them. They're weird. I've had that happen with cardstocks. And it's usually a pink, sometimes a purple, where I've heat embossed on it and I see the color changes a bit. I don't care. I go on about my day and just keep crafting. I'm fine with it. But I have noticed it. It does happen sometimes. The cloth is just to buff away that anti-static powder because it leaves that like white cast on the cardstock. And yes, sometimes if the cardstock is changing color, it sometimes kind of goes back and other times it doesn't because we're also dealing with like extreme heat. Like these tools, I think 450 degrees or something like that. I forget what this gets up to. It's a lot, so it is extreme heat. And that's also why you don't need to like sit there. It's like this melts quickly. And if you sat there, it will start on fire, but yeah. And yes, sometimes if a person is overheating and not really paying attention, you are burning the cardstock. That's also why the color could change because you're actually burning the cardstock because it does not take long. And like I always say, your heat tool doesn't need to warm up for minutes. And if it does, if it's not getting hot within like the first 15-ish seconds, I would consider getting a different heat tool because again, these are not toys, And yeah, I let mine heat up for a few seconds. Done. When I'm done, I unplug it. All the things. Just, yeah. It doesn't need to run for crazy long amounts of time. Okay, back to what I was doing. We gotta die cut these. Is yours the Wagner? Yep, it's linked in the supplies. This one's it's a Wagner. I like this. I like it a lot. I have the previous version. I've kept my old one as a backup. I bought this one when it came out because I was just curious. I didn't need it. My previous Wagner, that thing's a workhorse. So I've kept it in case I manage to break this one. Haven't yet. I've had this for how many years? I don't even know. I have no idea how many years I've had it. Love it. It's awesome. I fried a few embossed sentiments until I learned it didn't take 3 minutes. Like, oh yeah, like it. Yeah, You know, I say all these things, always remember, like, I've been doing this a long time, and I take the heat embossing and this tool really seriously because it is a serious fire hazard. I know I sound nuts, but it just, people have posted images. People have burned their houses down, like started fires in their craft room. People have burnt their houses down, like bad things have happened, and it just, there have been other tools in previous years, and there's still some on the market that have like a plastic piece right here, you know, and that's fine. But people have posted images because they're like, "Oh, I let my heat tool heat up for like 5 minutes." And the minute I read that, I was like, "Oh no, this isn't gonna go." And it's like that plastic piece was like melted beyond recognition. And I'm like, yeah. Again, this thing gets up to like 450 degrees. It's so you do no touchies, the metal. I have a little trivet, a little rubber trivet that I set him on so he can't fall off, and then I unplug him when I'm done. Because if this was to fall over, again, the poltergeist, or if you have a pet or little children, you know, it doesn't take much to knock it over, accidentally turn it on, whatever. The poltergeist would 100% just be like, screw you, meh, you know? So when I'm done, I unplug him because I've actually come down here late at night. I haven't even told you that, where I was like, did I unplug my heat tool? And I've come down here and checked in the middle of the night because I was, up like at 2 in the morning, and I'm like, did I leave my heat tool plugged in? You know, I'm paranoid. We all know it. I don't hide it. I've got issues. Anyway, let's die cut the sentiment. Yada yada yada. Yes. What black cardstock? This is Simon's black cardstock. So far, and I think everything I use is linked down below. Every once, especially during live streams, if I go on a different journey crafting, and then we got to add links and stuff. But as of right now, everything is listed and linked that I am using. So yeah, this is Simon's black cardstock, and I like it. It is heavyweight, and it's black, and it's good. It's very good. All right, so there's one sentiment. Lovely, love it so much. Let's die cut this one, and then I will probably die cut a couple little pieces again to build that dimension, because there's something about sentiments have an extra dimension.
Dimensions.
Dimension is life.
Yep. Pretty boring if there was less of them.
You just channeled Laura Basson for a second. You're thinking, oh, it is. I can't sing as good as Laura Basson. My singing is more like caterwauling, like I keep saying, I will save you all, so you're welcome from listening to me singing, because it's not pretty, all right? It's just not pretty. I used to be able to sing when I was young. I used to be able to sing. I still sing now, as the unpaid intern can attest. I'll just be like singing along in the vehicle when I don't even know half the words. I don't care, But oh yeah, I sing to the kids, but it's whatever stupid crap. When they're getting annoyed over saying clean the bathroom or whatever it is, and then you sing it to them once they get annoyed by it. Yeah. It's like, do your chores. We know, do your chores. All the things. It is what it is. So yeah.
This is why they're gonna put us in the cheapest home they can find.
Yeah. Banshee wailing. My British mom would say, yep, that's basically me. Or the singing is me just, again, going along with the lyrics to whatever inappropriate music I'm listening to in here sometimes. And also, not singing, just chaos, really. It's just chaos. That's just me. Okay. I did my die cutting. We will not need to die cut anything else with this set, because I'm going to stamp a sentiment on the inside better than yelling. Oh, I yell. I yell a lot. You know, because when you say it 5,000 times over and over and over again, and nobody listens, and then you yell, and everyone's like, man, why are you so crazy? Why are you so angry? I'm like, I said it nice every day for the last, now it's been over 20 years. So, yeah. Yep, fun times. I accidentally dropped my heat tool onto my rubber sewing machine mat and melted it immediately. Oh yeah, like this, the tip on this gets incredible. Like mine is no longer like super hot, but also it is cold in here. So it cools down pretty quickly. But yeah, right after use, like during use and right after use, this will melt things, you know, just full stop. So it's like, they really should make this end like bright red, you know, just warning, no touchies. So yeah, I harp on it, but it's because it's true. It's true. It's just what we got to do. Okay. Adhere these together to build dimension. Doop. Just like that. I mishear lyrics with my poor hearing. Oh, I mishear lyrics all the time. I talk about that with Chris a lot. I was like, remember back in the day when we didn't have like the internet, you know? And nothing irritated me more than getting like a cassette tape and they didn't have the lyrics in it. And it's like, what is this? I remember having to, I don't remember what song it was. I did a report on something and I was using a song as part of it in high school and having to listen to that song 5 million times over to write down all the lyrics because that was like in the baby days of the internet. Could not find the lyrics anywhere because it didn't exist back then. And I remember going and buying the CD for that song, and I opened it, and it was all just like art, and no, I was so mad. Oh, I was mad. That's probably why I don't remember what song it was, because I remember just being mad, and I was so sick of that song after I listened to it 5 bajillion times. I don't remember even why I was doing that. I think it was an art project, and I wanted to include the lyrics. I don't know. Like the amount of times now when I'm listening, and you can click. That's what I like now when I'm streaming music and you can click and it has all the lyrics. And I'm just like, oh man, I've been singing that wrong for 20 years. If you like bikinis a lot. Love it. Love it. That's good. Yep. All the time. All the time. Oh, see? Clean and simple. It's working. Okay, we need to add, I want this sentiment. I want this on the inside. This is where I'll use the Misty, because otherwise I will break something. Yep. Oh, I know. Kids these days have no idea how good they have it. You know, everything is so easily accessible, and lyrics, and just all the trials and tribulations we had to go through to get music, and having to buy an entire album even though you only liked one song. Yep. Anyway, just gonna line that up on the insides. Oop. Yep. And then I'm going to stamp that with the VersaFine Clear Nocturne ink. No, there's still songs. Even when I know the lyrics, like my brain will still remember how I misheard it. Especially like AC/DC. So many of their songs. The lyrics are just a mishmash in my brain. Like Dirty Deeds, Done Dirt Cheap. How did I used to always think that they would sing that? I think it was like Thunder Cheap or so. I can't remember how I was hearing it. Yeah, like Thunder Cheeks instead of Done Dirt Cheap, which, you know, I was a kid. Whatever. It's funny. Yes. The fleas on the dog for Feliz Navidad. Yeah. The fleas on the dog. Yep. 100%. Oh, that was one we sing to the kids. Watermelon sugar pie.
Yeah.
And we don't explain to them what that song means. They can find that out when they're older. We're like, yeah, he's singing about pie. How much he likes watermelon pie. Yep. What am I doing? I was like, why was I looking for something I don't need? Okay. I stamped the inside. And then another oldie but goodie favorite. Dirty Deeds and the Dunder Chief. Yeah, something like that. Something like that is, as I, for years and years and years, that's what I thought. They just never thought anything of it. It was like, yeah, they're just singing nonsense. Yep. Okay, where did I put this other? There we go. Oldie but goodie. I have used this set so many times, and it's not even. Oh my god. Rob Rivers did a parody of that. Dirty Deeds Done with Sheep. So inappropriate. Funny. Yeah, we saw. I was just thought things Weird Al. I took you to see Weird Al.
Yeah.
That was fun. Back to what we're doing. Snowflake frame. This set came out like 5 years ago. Still available. One of my favorites. I use it mostly for the snowflakes. And I've used it many times. I used it in a video I posted earlier this week. I love this old die set. He's just fabulous. And the frame is fabulous too. So what I did was I die cut gold glitter cardstock with this die set, which I die cut it before we started, which right now looks like nothing, but the dies are there. They're in there. This is Simon's gold glitter cardstock. And I did link to Simon's just glitter cardstocks because there's a bunch of colors they have. Because I get asked this a lot. Like what my preferred glitter cardstock is. And I like Simon's Stamps, Altenews, Tonics. Lawn Fawn has some. What else do I have? Those are like my main ones. Concord 9th has some. Spellbinders. All those ones for sure work amazingly. They die cut amazingly. Like I die cut these delicate, so yeah, these are, and I have like, this is multiple packs of Simon's. And like I said, I keep every little scrap of all of it because I use it. I'll die cut little stars and little hearts. So I keep all my little bits of specialty cardstocks. And yeah, when it comes to ones like this, little delicate, I just wiggle them out. First, I pop out any of the little center bits, which you guys can't really see on camera because the sparkliness is so amazing. But I pop out the little bits with a little die pick. So get those out of there because it's easy to do it while it's still stuck in the rest of it. And then just pop out those bits, doop, doop, like that. And then you can respond to Rich Kari's comment if you go under my links. Actually, I can do it faster than you. Right. I just added it. You can add that to the. I just added it to my links. Do my hicker, whatever you call it. That's where you can get the magnet plates. Doop. Get out of there. There we go. So yeah, once I get the bit spot, then I just I wiggle. Because when you're dealing with something really delicate, like, delicate little die cuts with fine, bits, I wiggle to remove them when it is, well, any cardstock really, but especially glitter cardstocks. Like that. And then we're good to go. And then I just work my way around because I die cut all of these in one pass right before I went live, just so that it was done. So I just work my way around, pop out another one. So doop and doop. There's those. Those ones already done. And then yeah, I save like the larger chunks, if there's like some solid area, I save those because I'll use it for a little heart, a little star die cut, like those sorts of things. 2, 2, 2. There we go. Let's just wiggle it out. And then this big one, like this, and he'll start coming out of there. There we go. Like that, and like that. And there we go. And a little fruit fly. Okay, so there's all my little sparkly snowflakes. And then, yes, if you want, you can save those for shakers. I don't. Because I have enough shaker stuff to last me multiple lifetimes. But yes, some of the little bits, especially little tiny circles and those sorts of little shapes, would totally work for shaker cards if that's what if that floats your boat. You could totally that, or for little embellishments again, little circular pieces, little diamond shaped pieces can totally work as little embellishments. I've done that tons of times. So I've got all my little glittery snowflakes because that's going to be my embellishment. And then I got my sentiments. So I've got sentiments, and I'm just going to use there they go. I'm just going to use a little foam square on these guys to clean up that end. Yes. So put some little foam squares, add some glue, and these will get adhered like that. Lining everything up, making sure it's straight. Yep. Still struggle with Altenew glitter cardstock, but use magnetic plug and top and bottom. How it works? Oh, I've never had a problem die cutting Altenew's glitter cardstock. It's a little bit thicker than Simon's, but I've been able to die cut the most intricate little wafer dies with it, and no problem. It does also kind of depend too on a person's die cut machine, because yeah, some machines either just over time or just some machines just if your machine doesn't handle really intricate wafer dies, sometimes they just lose that bit of pressure, or they just don't have it to begin with, if that makes sense. Okay, gotta line that guy up, and there we go. It's got that and that. Let's put that magnet on him, and then I want to pick. How do I want to do? I actually might want to cut one of these because I want to have like 1, 2. Might tuck that one under. Yep. Which I know is going to freak some people out, but it's okay. We'll all survive. We'll all survive. Yeah, if we do that, just basically cut this one in half. So that I can just tuck it. Yeah, just like that. Just like that. It's just paper. We'll all survive. It's all good. And just add just a little bit of glue. And then I can just go like that. And stick them in place. That's funny, I use the anti-griffin machine. Yeah, with intricate wafer dies and any intricate wafer dies, but also intricate wafer plus like glitter specialty wafers. I just add my little metal shim. I just add the one. I don't need to increase it. But if a person always cuts in the magnet and your magnet is like really stretched out, that could contribute to it not being able to cut as well. And for this, I'm just going to add again just little dabs of glue. And then while I'm doing this, because we're right in the home stretch, the unpaid intern can pick 2 winners because I'm making 2 cards. There we go. Do you draw from the USA and Canada? Oh, international. Like when it comes to mailing cards, I'll mail them anywhere. Because yeah, it's not cheap to mail outside of Canada and the US, but I do it anyway. And then we add that one right there. Just like that. And then doodle-doop. And then on the inside, I'll add those last 2 snowflakes. You know? Just to give it that little extra something. There we go. Little tiny dabs. Just don't need much. This is like, press that down. And then we can add this little guy. We'll just put a little dot right in the middle. That's all we need. There we go. And that's 1 card done. And then this one, we're basically just gonna do the same thing. Yeah, because I liked how that looked. So we'll just cut off half of the snowflake so I can tuck him under the tree there. Just like that. Get in your home. There we go. And adhere him into place. And then what do I do? Do that guy? Yeah, I'm just going to follow. There's no point reinventing the wheel. I'll just follow the same layout. They're basically the same card, just 2 different trios of green, you know? Which also goes into my whole spiel that I go on and on about. It's like, I don't need to reinvent the wheel, just change the colors. Because, yeah, it's interesting the different looks you can get just from different color, you know? And these will look pretty if you could do purples, turquoises, pinks, anything. Honestly, sky's the limit. Who cares? Have fun with it. Like if I was going to do this and like mass produce a bunch of them, that's probably what I would do. Or if you wanted to keep it even simpler and happened to have like a lot of like colored cardstock, you could just die cut, just cut, like I said at the beginning, like solid colored cardstock. Skip the ink blending altogether. And that would be fun. Let's get that one. And then we're going to add these guys to the inside of the card. Just little dabs. Doop, 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 doop. Like that. Get that guy in place. And then, I'm glad you guys are liking it. Blues, that would look really pretty. Any color, really. You know, you could do a whole like rainbow series of them and do it up as a gift set. That would be amazing. It would look lovely. It would look lovely. So got that. And that, my friends, is a mess. And my finished card. Let me just do. There we go. Let me get that brushed into his little crafts there. There we go. Okay. Let me zoom in. Nope, wrong direction. There we go. There we go. Okay. So that's the jade, eucalyptus, and juniper inks. And gold. And that little bit of black splatter that just, you know. Here we go. Same size as the triangle tree. Cheryl, I addressed that at the very beginning and went and showed the sets and talked about it. And then this one is cabbage, artichoke, and kale for the 3 different greens. And we got some sparkle and some splatter and that little bit of black splatter. And then can't go wrong with a good heat emboss sentiment. And then just fun. Just fun. Okay. Who am I sending these cards to?
The first one is going to Melody in Illinois.
Melody in Illinois.
And Leanne in Oregon.
So, once, what was I going to say? My plan is to mail everything out tomorrow. Because I can't show my face. For those that tuned in later, something went weird with my face camera. I can't fiddle until I end this live. So yeah, my plan is to mail these out and all the other ones from the last couple months worth of lives tomorrow. There will be delays. Who knows how long it's going to take for cards to get to people because of the rotating Canada Post strikes. We'll get there. And then, yeah, housekeeping. I will probably have a bonus live at some point this week, hopefully, now that I now have to do some tech figuring out and hopefully get this. I need to get this camera working. Because I am going live on Thursday. Is it Thursday I'm going live? Yeah, I'm going live on Thursday at 3:30 Eastern. So 2:30 Central Time on the Altenew channel. I'm not sure yet if I'll be like restreaming it on my channel at the same time. I haven't had a chance to even look into that yet, but it will for sure be on the Altenew channel. It's already set up. You'll see my face on there. Oh, here, disembodied hand in this camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
3D effects.
Oh, it's amazing. So yeah, thank you to the unpaid intern for helping. Yeah, he can't wave in my face camera because I don't know. Once this live is over, which will be in a couple minutes, I'm going to immediately start figuring out what the heck happened, and hopefully it's fixable. Because anyway, so yeah, I'm going live on Thursday. I do plan on doing a bonus live this week. I'm just not sure yet exactly when, but I'll try and give everyone a heads up. I have other videos coming. I might have, like I said, I might have one a little later today. I was working on editing it and I wasn't able to get it. I was going to post it yesterday and I just didn't have enough time. So I have another video coming and then multiple other videos as always. And then, yeah, I already have links to everything to make these in the description box below. And I'll do the photos and the blog posts and all of that stuff. And I appreciate y'all hanging out with me today. I appreciate all of you that show up for my lives and stuff. It's fun. The chaos is fun with all y'all. And we will just keep figuring things out. I thought we were past all the tech issues, but I guess not. I guess the poltergeist just needed to remind me who's in charge. I don't know, but it is what it is. So, yeah, that is it for me for now. I will hopefully see you guys very soon in the next video. Bye, everyone. Thank you so much to my amazing Patreon supporters. For anyone that might be interested in joining my Patreon community and supporting me, the link to my Patreon is in the description box below the video. For everyone else, as always, thank you all so much for taking the time to watch my videos, for thumbs upping, commenting, subscribe if you haven't, I'd love to have you. And here's a couple other videos for you to check out in case you missed them. Bye!